Okay, good afternoon to all of you. So today we are going to talk or discuss on the topic of cryptography. Okay, so we have in our previous classes we have talked on there are two part actually. One is part for the hackers and intruders. We have discussed on that. Now today we are going to talk or discuss on the part of the viruses and the threats, virus and what are the related threats. We are going to talk on those particular topic, right? So virus or this the related traits if we're talking about this virus, we can term it as a malicious program. Some affected files they are entering into a system, and then it gets spread and affecting our system and harming our file. That is the basic task we understand of virus. So there are several type of malicious program are present, and there are different names of them. Right. So we will look into each of the names and what is the description or what is the role of this. We will see. So if we go for one by one, the first malicious program, the name malicious program. Okay. So first name I would like to write here. The first one, the common, that is virus. This malicious program or the virus, what is the purpose or what is the description of virus? That this virus actually attached itself to a program and propagates copies of itself to other programs. What generally it is do, attach itself to a program, attach itself to a program and propagates so and propagates into other files so that to incorporate with copies, to propagate its copies to other programs, propagate its copies to other programs to affect the system, to other programs to affect the system. So this is the task or very basic task of viruses, that it attach itself to a program, to a file, folder, whatever it consists, and then it propagates, it spreads itself into the same form, into the multiple copies, and then attach itself again with some other programs to harm that particular file or program. So whenever we are opening a malicious file of virus, then it is spreading very rapidly to affect any other file. Second one, that is name is worm. The same task almost, that is program propagates copies of itself to other computers, to other programs we can talk about, right? So virus is affecting itself to one system in itself the system, and worm is propagating itself, propagating the copies of itself to other computers. That is a program that propagates the copies of itself to other device. Right. So this is the second malicious program that we can talk, that is worm. Third one we can call a very popular one, that is Trojan horse. That program contains unexpected additional functionality. So we also know this term, that is Trojan horse. It was one of the powerful viruses that enter into the system, and these files, this type of files have additional information that is not actually needed in that particular files or folders, have some unexpected additional information, unexpected additional functionality to propagate themselves through the system, right? So unexpected additional functionality. We all first, these three I have written: virus, worm, Trojan horse. It is very popular and we know these names, right? But there are several others malicious program we need to know. That is fourth one. I am talking about the logic bomb. It is one type of malicious program that triggers its action when its conditions occurs. So I write the name only, that is known as logic bomb. It occurs in a scenario where its condition, it has some conditions in the file. When I am targeting or triggering that particular file, then it only triggers, and when then it is only going to spread. There is trapdoor or also known as backdoor, that program modification that allows unauthorized access to functionality. Some unauthorized access is happening here for functionality, so that is known as backdoor. Means an unauthorized access is happening here, then exploit code specific for a single one, some coding particular related problems, downloaders, auto routers, spammers program, keyloggers, rootkit, zombie. So these are the several malicious program name we can talk about that is present and that is harming our system. So this malicious program or the softwares, whatever it can be divided into two categories basically. This malicious programs, it can be divided into two categories. What are the two types? First one, it is known as the host program, and second one, it is known as independent. First one, we can talk it as host program, and second one, we can consist as independent. These two types of these malicious programs are present, host program and the independent. This is means these fragments of the programs that cannot exist independently of some actual application program. These are known as the host program, is where the thing cannot be done individually. It needs some application programs, utility, or some system programs to exploit itself. That it is known as the host program, right? So these traits we're talking about, there are some phases, right? These viruses or the different type of malicious program traits, they have some phases. So they have some phases. What are the name of the phases? This virus can be reached via four phases. There are, we can talk about, there are four phases. What are the four phases? First one we can talk about as dormant phase, the term that is known as dormant phase, right? Second one we can say propagation phase. Second one we can say propagation phase. Third one we can say as trigger phase. And fourth one we can say as execution phase. So these four type of phases are present in a life cycle of a virus. We can say that it's a life cycle. The four phases of a life cycle in a virus is, this has the four phases, that dormant phase, propagation phase, triggering phase, and execution phase. So now talking about each and every phases one by one. What is, we can say, starting from the dormant phase? What we understand as dormant phase? In this life cycle, the first cycle is dormant phase, and in this part, what happens? The virus remains idle, that it doesn't work anything. The virus is remain idle, and the virus will eventually be activated by some event. So first scenario, that when the virus is present, we will not be aware because at that time it will be idle. Then eventually it will be activated by some event, some particular presence of another program or another file, capacity of disk exhibitions, any type of event will be happening. Some event will be there to activate it, this particular virus. Till that time it is in some idle mode. So this is the part, this is called as the dormant phase, where the virus eventually first become idle. Then if any event or if anything happen, any of events occurs, then at that time it will be activated. Now this dormant phase, it is not present in every viruses, but some of the viruses, or we can say most of the viruses have these phases. But as it is a life part, if it is not present on all viruses, then no issue. Some virus have it, so we should not ignore it. So dormant phase is the part where it becomes idle, and then for any event, eventually it gets activated. Second one, if we talk about, that is our propagation phase. So first one we have talked on dormant phase. Now second part, that is propagation phase. In this part, in this life cycle of the viruses, the propagation phase just replicate itself. It places an identical copy of itself into the other programs or into some areas of the system. So here, after the dormant phase, the propagation phase, the virus actually replicate itself. It copies or it make an identical copy of itself and put it into the other programs or into some disk spaces. Now, where this space, where this copy, identical copy was placed, this will infected the program because the virus, the clone of the virus will be in some exploiting part. They will be attaching itself into each and every particular files where it is placed, right? Where it will be having, then it will be attaching itself to harm that particular file. So that is called a propagation phase, where it propagates itself. It will actually making an identical copy of itself into other programs, into certain and put themselves into the system areas or in other files to exploit itself to harm that particular area, right? Third one we are going to talk about, that is known as triggering phases. So in trigger phase, what happened, the virus, after that copy replication and all the parts, this virus is activated to perform the functions for which it was intended. So first it will be idle, then it will be activated. After activation, it will make an identical copy and this place it into some different portions, different files or different system disk, right? Then now when all the things was done, now it will be activated to perform what it is actually intended, means to harm the system, to harm the files. These are the what is the roles. So this triggering phase, here there are several variety of events can be happening, that the copy, suppose a file, we can see the multiple copy of a single file, or there is some multiple copies but some the files, only one file is opening and the rest of the files are not responding. So several various types of events we are going to see in this particular part, and this is known as the triggering phases. So where the after the copy replication, now there are several files, several copy of a single file, and that files are not opening or having some problem. So this is the part of the triggering phase. Now the last one is execution phase. Execution phase is basically of execution the task for what it is intended for. So in execution phase, the function for what type of the viruses was designed, what is the role of the virus was will be going to execute. So some of it may, it is going to harm the system, harm the files, harm the folders, or moreover some are very harmful to harm the total system, not working, not responding, the system will be totally in a hang mode. So whatever the task that is intended for, what type of virus which is present, according to that the system affection or the harmness will be detected, but it is all happening in the execution phases, right? So these are the four life cycle phase of any viruses, we can say. So dormant phase, propagation phase, triggering phase, and execution phase. These are the four part of the phases or four phases of a virus's life cycle, right? Just a minute. Okay. Now, these viruses have different types. We can say there are several types of the viruses we can talk about, right? So among all of those types, there are some most significant types are we are going to talk. First one is parasitic virus. First one is parasitic virus. So this parasitic virus is a very common actually. What happens in what are the part of this parasitic virus is that it attaches itself to some executable file and replicates. And when this file or in this infected file is going to execute, then some other files related to that or attached with that, is also going to be harmed, right? So parasitic virus means the simple term of parasitic, that depending on any other, right? So parasitic, it is the same like scenario, that here the virus attaching itself with some of the files, some of the executable files, and then it replicates the particular copy of the file. And when that infected file is going to be executed, then the system is going to be in a faulty, or system will be having some virus problem. So this is the part of parasitic virus, where it is going to actually depending on any other type of files. Next one is memory resident virus. Next one we can talk about as memory resident virus. So in this part, in this context of memory resident viruses, what happened? The virus here get into the main memory or the resident system memory part. I hope you have the remember the resident system memory of the operating system. So in this part, the lodges or the virus actually log into the or place or going to be enter into the main memory as a part of the resident system program. And from that point, the virus infects every program that is going to be executed. That every program that is going to execute through the resident system memory, every program will be affected as the virus was already present there. That is known as the memory resident virus, that is directly present to our memory block, that is directly present in our main memory block. So that is known as memory resident virus. Third one we can talk about as boot sector virus. In this part, in the part of this boot sector virus, it infects a master boot record and spreads when a system is getting booted from the disk. So it is attacking, this type of virus is attacking the boot record section from where the booting is going to start, booting is going to be happen, and it spreads from there, from the booting system, from the boot recording part. The system is booted from the disk containing the virus. So whenever the disk is going to be booted, it will contain the virus, as the virus was directly present in that boot sector part. The virus is present in our boot sector part. Fourth one is known as stealth virus. Stealth virus is a part that is designed to hide itself. Means that we cannot actually uh, find out the virus. It is actually what we can say is better term, that it is hiding itself. It has some stealth mode. So detecting this virus is little bit tough, even in some antivirus software. Still we cannot actually locate it, because it has designed itself, or it has some type of designing where it can stealth or hide from any of the antiviruses also. So that is known as the stealth virus. Then there is one more part, that is polymorphic virus. One more scenario we can talk, polymorphic virus. In the part of this, in this context of polymorphic virus, it mutates with every infection, making detection by the signature of the virus impossible. So it just gets muted after every infection. The files or the polymorphic is happening here. So it is very tough to detect also here this polymorphic type of viruses. So these are the several types we are talking of the viruses, like parasitic, stealth mode, boot sector, memory resident. These are the several types of viruses. So what type of viruses present where and doing what task, harming what particular area, we can have from those particular work, from these particular categories. We are actually divided this type of the viruses. We are actually divided this type of the viruses. One more dangerous type of virus or harmful type of viruses was find out in the year of 19 means after the year of 1990, maybe in the mid 90s, we can talk about one dangerous virus, or one of the most harmful viruses was found first, that is known as the macroviruses. That is known as the macrovirus. Here what is this macrovirus actually? This macrovirus is actually threatening for many particular number of reasons, because first one, it is very much platform independent. Means whatever the platform yours, it doesn't bother. OS, operating system in Windows, Linux, what it can be. The this type of virus, this macro virus is totally of platform independent. So these macro viruses infect in general any type of documents, word related documents, or any type of hardwaring problem or operating system that's supporting the word related files or word related document, it will be getting infected by this part of macro viruses. So macro virus is very dangerous as it is going to harm the word file, and in every cases the most things that we are going to use, or most the most used application in general, we can say this word, Microsoft Word file. So it was particularly working that area. This macro virus is attacking that area so that it can harm any type of Microsoft Word related file. And this macro viruses also infect the documents. That documents then not going to be executed again. Most of this information introduced to a computer system in the form of this document, it will be attacked. So any type of documents that have the system related information will going to be attacked by these macro viruses, and we can, and not we, actually it is going to be spread easily as it can also spread through the mail. Basically this macro virus injected or can be found into the system via the mail. So where this, as it can be muted or it can be transformed through the mail. That's why macro virus is one of the most dangerous or harmful viruses we can talk about. So this macro viruses is coming through this electronic mail. So that's why we can also term as the email viruses. There is also another term of macro viruses. We can term it as email viruses, right? So the scenario is same. It will be coming through that email or many electronic mails, and then going to attack the what type of files and any system type document that have some system information, right? Now we have talked about the virus. Then the second part here we are going to talk, that is worm. So this worm, basically we have already said that it has a program, malicious program obviously, that can replicate itself, and that replicates copy can be sent into the other computers accessing through the network connections or any devices, portable devices. So this worm is a malicious program that can replicate itself. The hardmost strategy, the hardmost rule is that it can replicate itself. So that's why it is very tough, because as it is replicating itself, it can be replicating any type of file with the same type of loops, right? So replication is a very hard thing to find. So to replicate itself, a worm uses some of the parameters or some of the path to replicate itself and then to transmit itself. One of those very important transmission path is we can call electronic mail or email facility. Or worm, we can, this worm actually copies or mails a copy of itself to another system. Is whatever the files or is actually, suppose a file I am going to send to any other person, so that file is going to be affected by the worms, and then it can replicate itself through that particular file via the other system in the mode of this email facility. So this worm is having this particular facilities, accessing this particular facilities, that is email facility or remote login capability. By using this particular type of replications transmission media, the worm is getting replicated from one system to another system, one system to another system. And this have some particular functions that establishing a connections, all of this is that can be helpful to in the process of the transmission of these worms that can replicate itself and find out a process. Now in this state or in this part of this, that some technologies, what are the state of on this worm technology? There are several states of this worm technology. First one, we can talk about multi-platform. In this part, the multi-platform, the worms, there are several types of worms are present, but some newer worms can attack, or some of the worms can attack directly in the variety of platforms, can attack within different types of platforms. Okay, so we can say this worm is one type of platform independent. So variety, maybe we know that this Unix is very much secure with respect to Windows, but still it has the power, this worm has the power to attack this Unix operating system also with respect to that Windows. Okay, so this Unix to add the virus can attack, this worm type of viruses can attack the Unix type of system also. Then second one is known as the multi exploit. The second state of this worm technology is known as multi exploit. What happened in this part of this multi exploit, that the worms can penetrate the systems in variety of ways. Penetrate means get into the system or from one side to another side. The multi-exploiting the part, it can penetrate the systems in variety of ways using exploits against any type of web servers, browsers, emails, file sharing systems, or any other network-based applications. So it can exploit the area of this and transmit it themselves through this particular emails, in file sharing, the network-based applications, web servers, browser, any of the particular scenario it can exploit. Third state of the worm technology we can talk about, that is some ultra fast spreading. That is, we can say ultra fast spreading. In this part of ultra fast spreading, it's a technique to accelerate the speed of a worm, so it can quickly get into the system from one system to another system before it gets scanned or it gets actually found. So before it can be scanned or it can be found, it has some facility to accelerate the speed of this particular worm to get into one system from another system. Right, there are several, these are the types, or this is the state of the worm technologies. These are the technologies by which, or better say, these are the transmission path by which the worm is actually getting from one system to another system. So these viruses, talking about these several types of viruses, so we need to fight or deal with the virus also. So to fight and to deal with the viruses, there is there is a countermeasure that is known as antivirus approach. So to counter the virus, there is another thing that is known as antivirus. So we know that term antivirus, that is helping us to prevent the system by getting attacked from the viruses, by getting attacked from the viruses. Fine, no issue. So what is this antivirus approach? That is to solution, the antivirus was designed to neutralize the threat of the viruses. It do not allow any virus to get into the system, right? So the system can be secured, and prevention of reduce the number of successful viral attacks. This virus is helping us to prevent, reduce the number of successful viral attacks. So what are the approaches it is following this antiviruses? First one, it is following the detection. Second one, it is identification. Third one, removal. So these three processes or three approaches it is following, any antivirus is following in a basic terms: detection, identification, removal. These are the three terms. So what happening in detection? That first, the infection, if the virus is present, it will first determine that it has occurred or locate the virus. The location of the virus will be detected. And in the part of the identification, once the detection was done, it identifies the virus type, what type of virus it is, right? So detection and identification are two different things. Detection means to detect the virus, whether any virus is present or not. That only can be the part of detection. Now in the second part, that is identification, it will detect or it will identify that what type of virus it is. So what type of virus, it is not in the part of the detection, it is the part of identification. Detection will only find out that yes, there is a virus or not. And lastly, third one, the removal part, where the virus, if it is found, if it is identified what type of virus is, then that remove all the trace of that particular virus, or whatever the infected things or infected files, whatever the things are present, to neutralize the whole things totally, so it cannot harm the system in any other way, right? So these are the three techniques or approaches that any type of any antivirus is basically following. First one, detection; second one is identification; third one is removal. These are the three particular process that any antivirus is following. Now, these antiviruses was have some generations like the system, computer system. This computer system have followed some generations. So this antivirus is also have some generations. There are 3 to 4 generations are there for this antiviruses. Means in each generation, the antivirus actually gets modified, have some new facilities, have some new things, right? So this antiviruses have this power or this thing. So there are in first generation, that is only can have simple scanning, that only can scan that whether any virus or not. In second generation, some modification have done, some high level scanner was added to think run the scans more thoroughly. In the third generation, some activity trapping to identify the part. In the fourth generation, all the features like detection, identification, and also the removal facility. So the things is getting updated day by day. Each and every day, the generation is getting updated, right? So first generation, second generation, third and fourth generation, these are the updation of the process. We can say this is the updation of the process, nothing more like that. And this advanced the antivirus technique, that it can decryption or it can do the simple emulator, virus scanner, or emulation control, whatever the more features can be added to prevent or to deal with this particular virus related problem, deal with this virus related problems, right? So this virus and antiviruses are part. Antivirus is basically one of the term we can talk also, that is a digital immune system. Digital immune in the concept of coming through the electronic mails that we have used, that means the integrated mail system or any type of mailing where the by where from where the things can be introduced into our system, right? So we need to stop those particular parts also. So this digital immune system is one scenario, one concept here, that is saying that monitoring the program of each and every program that is running the PC that is we are using, it will monitor each and every system, each and every things with the high level scanners based on the system behaviors. Any if any system undetected behaviors was detected, means unreliable behavior was detected by the system, by the antivirus, then it will look into that, then the creates the environment where the infected program can be safely run for analysis. So we will, if any type of detection was found, if any type of antivirus was detected, then to monitor that, to run or to exploit, to check that whether what is the virus or not, whether what type of, if it is, then what type of virus it is. Then all the things are done, then it will check all the parameters and try to neutralize the total process, analyzing the virus behavior, structure, extract the thing, extract the file. If it is possible to recover the file from the viruses, try to recovering that. This type of several things are the part or are the process of this digital immune system we can talk about, right? So this digital part, this immune system, like the scanners or any type of integration, it has the chance or monitor behavior can be included by this following this attempt to open or view or modifying files. So these are the part by which we can access or understand that whether anything is any virus is happening or working or not, right? Modification of any files is happening or multiple copies of the file we are getting, some unreadable scripting of emails that is not opening, some files was present that is not opening. So all these are indication of that whether it is there is some viruses are present or not. It is just the indication of those particular scenarios, right? So this is all about the part of this virus and antiviruses, and in the previous part we have talked about the intruders, hackers, all of this scenario. So this is the part we are going to talk, and up to this particular part. Now this part, this section was finished and covered by today. Next class we will look into what new topic we can start, because this topic was completed. So in the next class we will look into what new topic we can we can start. Okay, so I will look into the syllabus and find out a new topic for the discussion. So this is all for today. So I would like to request all of you to write your names in the chat box for your attendance so that I can mark it. Okay, so thank you all for joining into the session. Please write your names for your attendance. So I hope that all of you have written your names in the chat box for your attendance purpose. So thank you all for joining the session. Stay safe. Take care. We will meet in tomorrow.